Find you a comfortable seat, maybe on a blanket or block. And you might close your eyes or find a soft gaze down in front of you. And just begin to tune in to your body, to your breath. And today we're going to be focusing on finding a little more freedom in our bodies, in our breath, maybe even in our minds. So just begin to notice how your body feels. Just inviting any area that feels tight or tense to just begin to relax and let go. And then take a nice full inhale and a soft exhale. Let it go. And then gently open your eyes if they were closed. And just extend your arms out to the side, reaching in opposite directions, inviting a sense of openness, freedom in your arms. Maybe imagine your arms and hands are like wings, feeling that freedom of having wings and flight. And then slowly exhale, palms to the earth, slowly lower your arms down, hands to the mat. And then lift up your left arm. And then as you exhale, side bend over to your right. Choose your gaze. You might look up, straight ahead, or you might look down to release your neck. Breathe here and notice how it feels along your left side body, inviting a little more spaciousness between the ribs there. Maybe a little more freedom as you breathe here. On your next inhale, come back up. Lower your left hand down, reach up through your right arm. And as you exhale, side bend over to your left. Choose your gaze. Notice how this feels. On your next inhale, come back up. And exhale, lower your hands and arms down. So we're going to begin to invite a little more freedom into our bodies today. Freedom with our breath, maybe freedom with movement, maybe a little more freedom as we invite a little more energy flow into our bodies, and maybe even releasing some areas of tightness or tension. So let's transition into table pose. Hands just about shoulder distance apart, maybe a little wider. Knees about hip distance apart. And keep a neutral spine to start, gently drawing your belly in, lengthening through your spine. Tailbone to the back of your mat, crown of the head towards the front of your mat, encouraging space between each vertebrae. And then inhale. Arch through your spine, relax your belly, draw your heart forward for cow. Exhale, draw your belly in, look to your knees for cat. Inhale, cow. And as you exhale, cat. Continue flowing here with your breath. And notice how your spine feels here. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And then return to a neutral table. And then widen your knees. Toes touching or slightly separated. Sit your hips back towards your heels. You can relax your arms and come into your child's pose. Forehead to the mat or a block or you can stack your hands to rest your head on. Make sure your head is supported and just notice your breath. On your next inhale, lift your head and lower all the way down onto your belly. Elbows just about under your shoulders, forearms parallel, making your way into your Sphinx pose. Gently press into your hands and forearms, lengthening through your spine and broadening the area across your upper chest, drawing your heart forward, feeling that engagement in your upper back and shoulder girdle. The muscles between your shoulder blades are active. You can press into the tops of your feet, drawing your heart forward and lengthening through your spine. Gaze down towards the front of your mat or in between your thumbs. Neck is long. Notice where you might invite a little more spaciousness here in Sphinx. Take one more breath here. And then on your next exhale, widen your elbows out, stack your hands, rest your head on the back of your hands, and relax completely in Makrasana. Notice the expansion of your breath and how your body can have this freedom of movement to expand and soften as you exhale. Take one more breath here. And then on your next inhale, lift your head. Bring one hand under your shoulders and then the other. Press up into Bhujangasana, Cobra. Brief pause at the top of your inhale. And then exhale, slowly lower down. Press into your hands, push yourself back up into table pose. Pause, lengthen through your spine. And then we're going to come into puppy pose. You might want to block, maybe on the medium setting, position just about under your nose. Keep your hips just about over your knees, hip distance apart. And start to walk your hands further forward on your mat and then lower your forehead to the block. Keep your arms fairly straight. Draw your belly in, lengthen through your spine. This is also called melting heart pose. So you can imagine your heart is sort of melting towards the mat. Notice how this feels. And then come back up. Set your block aside. Move your hands a couple inches further forward so your wrist creases are just slightly in front of your shoulders. Tuck your toes and reach your hips up and back for downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. You can pedal your feet. If you need to, you can walk your feet further forward. You could have your hands on blocks, whatever makes sense to you. Just notice how this first down dog feels. Notice the upper back. Notice your legs. And then lower the knees down. Come to a seat and just pause for a moment. Notice sensation. Notice your upper back and shoulders. Notice if there's any energy flow or sensation there. If there's any sense of openness or freedom of energy flow, just whatever you notice. Come back into your table pose. Move your hands slightly forward so your wrist crease is in front of your shoulders. And then tuck your toes and reach your hips up and back once more for downward dog. Notice how this feels. So notice how your shoulders and upper back feel. Find any movement that feels good to you. And then lower the knees down. Reach for your blocks, bringing them closer to you. Hands on your blocks, maybe the medium setting. Bring your right foot forward. Tuck your back toes and lift your back knee so you're coming into a runner's lunge here. Keep your hips up a little bit. Activate your legs, lengthen through your spine. Keeping that front knee just about over the front ankle. Pressing the back heel back. And then move your left hand slightly forward. You can keep the hand on the block at the medium setting, or you can turn the block to the low setting. Preparing for a lunge twist. Make sure your left hand feels stable. Inhale your right arm up for a twist to your right. Inviting that sense of openness across your heart as you expand and lengthen through your arms like wings. On your exhale, lower the right hand down. Bring your blocks up to the same setting. Lower the back knee down. Release the back toes if you'd like and send your hips back. Coming into a half splits. You can keep that front knee a little bent as you lift the front toes up. Hinging from your hips, lengthening through your spine. Find your variation here, getting into the hamstrings. And then thoughtfully, maybe bringing your right hand on the inside of that front foot. Bring that right leg back around so you're back in table position. Preparing for the other side. Step your left foot forward. Tuck your back toes, lift the back knee, come into your runner's lunge on the other side. Legs are strong and engaged. You can also come up onto the blocks on your knuckles or fingertips if it bothers your wrists in any way. Make sure that right hand feels stable. Again, you might lower the block to the low setting. And then inhale, twist to your left. Expanding across the upper chest and the arms, like your arms are wings. And as you exhale, lower the left hand down. Bring the blocks back up to the same setting. Lower the back knee down. Release the toes. Send your hips back. Come into the half splits on this side. Lift the front toes up. You can keep a little bend in that front knee. Make sure you're not overdoing it. And then left hand to the inside of that front leg. Swing that left knee around. And from here, hands on blocks. Step your right foot forward again. Tuck your back toes. Come back into that runner's lunge. And then step your back foot up slightly, lowering the heel, preparing for warrior one. You can set your blocks aside, and then inhale, rise, coming up into warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Grounding through that back heel, lengthening your tailbone towards the back heel. Arms wherever it makes sense to you. Maybe invite a sense of openness and expansion. You can have the arms lower or higher. Just invite that sense of openness across your heart. And then exhale, hinging from your hip crease. Keep your spine long. Fly your wings, extending your arms back like wings. Keep your heart lifted slightly so there's a little arch in your upper back and a nice line of energy from the crown of your head to your back heel. And then bring your hands back to the blocks, framing your front foot. Lift the back heel and step your back foot up just about a foot. Tip the blocks up to the high setting. Coming into pyramid pose, Parshvottanasana. Legs are active, spine is long. If you need to, you can bend that front knee a little bit. You can also step the feet in a little closer. Find the position that feels good to you. The back foot is not as turned out as in warrior one. Engage your core, lengthen through your spine. Press into your feet. And then bend the front knee. Inhale, step forward halfway. Nice long spine. And exhale, forward fold. Press into the balls of your feet. Knees can bend a little or a lot. Say hello to those hamstrings. From here, just come up halfway and bring your hands back onto the blocks. Bend your knees and step your right foot back. Pause in that runner's lunge. And then step the back foot up just slightly, lowering the heel down. You might toe heel the front foot out a little wider, preparing for your warrior one on this side. You can move the blocks out a little wider if you would like. And inhale, rise up. Virabhadrasana one, warrior one. Again, notice the back foot might be turned out slightly. Tailbone going towards your back heel. Hips are mostly square. And your heart is shining forward. Lifting your arms up where they're comfortable to you, inviting that sense of openness across your heart. You might gently lift your gaze, press into your feet, lengthening out of the low back. And then on your exhale, fly the arms. Palms down, thumbs out, engage your core, lengthen through the spine, just hinging just a little bit. So there's a sense of opening across the heart, shoulders are going back, nice line of energy from the crown of the head to the back heel. Press into both feet. And then release your arms. Bring your hands to your blocks. Let's bring them onto the tall setting here. Lift your back heel. Bring that back foot up about a foot. Lower the heel. So the back foot is turned out just slightly. Hips are mostly square. Legs are mostly straight. Spine is long. Core is engaged. Pyramid pose, Parshvottanasana, lengthen through the spine. Press into your feet. You can always hinge from the hip crease to go a little deeper if you would like. Keeping your hands maybe on the blocks, just bending your arms is an option. Or you might just stay up, keeping the spine long. Couple more breaths here. And as you exhale, bend your front knee, step forward, halfway lift, nice long spine. Exhale, Uttanasana, forward fold. Press into your feet. Lengthen through your spine. Notice your breath. Find your variation. And then on your next inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, hands to your thighs, bend your knees. Look forward. And then slowly come up into Tadasana. Samastiti, bringing your hands together at your heart. Press your hands together gently or perhaps more firmly if you feel lightheaded. And you can also squeeze your glutes. Sometimes that helps with lightheadedness as well. Notice your breath. And then release your hands. Ground into the earth. You feel like your feet are like tree roots, sending energetic roots deep into the earth. Feel your legs activate. Spine is nice and tall. Heart is lifted. Mountain pose, Tadasana. Relax your arms and hands. And let's reach for our strap. We're going to get a little more openness into the upper body. So using your strap, holding it like there's about 3 feet between your hands. If you have any issues in your shoulders, be mindful. Maybe don't go as far. And as you take the strap up above your head, slowly slide your hands a little wider and bring the strap behind your head or neck. So find the area that feels best to you. This can be a pretty good stretch. So if shoulders complain, back off a little bit, maybe not go as far, or widen your hands a little bit more, or you might need to bend the elbows. Breathe here, inviting a little bit more sense of openness across your heart and upper chest. Inhale, slowly bring the strap up, and exhale, lower the arms by your side. Shake it out a little bit. So holding your strap, bring it back up above your head. And as you exhale, bring it behind your head or neck, widening the strap as you need to. Keep your legs strong. Breathe here. You might notice more zings of sensation in one arm than the other. And then inhale, bring the strap back up. And exhale, slowly lower the arms back down. Shake it out a little bit. Notice sensation. So come into a wide stance, feet parallel to start. Turn your heels in, toes out. Bend your knees and come into goddess. Make sure your knees are tracking in the same direction as your toes. Bring your hands into that fierce goddess. Find your position here. And if you need to come up a little bit and then go back, that's fine. Just a few breaths here. And then on your next inhale, 5-pointed star. Straightening your legs, straightening your arms, lift your gaze, extending through your arms and hands. Press into your feet as you lift your heart, expanding out in 5 directions. And then thoughtfully start to relax. Bring your feet parallel. Slowly lower your arms down by your side. Pause here in Padasana with the feet wide. And then reach for your blocks, placing them alongside of your mat there. Feet are parallel. Bring your hands back up to your hips. Take an inhale. Lead with your heart, hinging from your hips. Bring your hands onto your blocks. Spine is long. And then from here, bend one knee. You can move your blocks over in that same direction as your bent knee, getting a little stretch in that inner thigh. So if you're bending your right knee, keep your left hand on the block and inhale, twist to your right. So just a little variation here. Expanding out through that right arm like a wing. And then lower the right hand back to the block. Straighten that right leg, adjust your blocks back to center, and bend your left knee. Getting a stretch in that inner right thigh, adjust your blocks a little to the left. Right hand where it feels stable to you. Inhale the left arm out to the left and twist to your left. Breathe here. Slowly lower that left hand back to your block. Straighten that left leg, adjust your blocks back to center. Take a nice inhale here, and then exhale, hinging from your hips, come into the wide leg forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Hands where they make sense to you. You can keep them just about under your shoulders. You can keep your hands on the blocks, or you might bring your hands behind your heels. Drawing yourself a little deeper. Keep your legs active. Spine long. Drawing your belly in slightly, lengthen through the spine. Slowly on your next inhale, come up halfway. Pause here. And we're going to come back to our mat from this position. Heel toe your feet a little closer together, and then thoughtfully lower down onto one knee and then the other. And set your blocks aside and come to a seat with your legs out in front of you. Pause here. And then bend your left knee, cross your left foot over your right thigh, and allow your left sits bone to come slightly forward. Keep your right leg active, toes to the sky, foot flexed. Right hand comes behind you for support. Left hand might be on that left knee, or you might bring the left arm on the inside of that lower left leg. Inhale, lengthen through your spine. And as you exhale, twist to your right. Breathe here, inviting a sense of openness again across your heart, with a slight engagement in your upper back. Again, finding that same sense of openness through the upper back and shoulders that we were finding with the strap. As you breathe here. On your next inhale, unwind, come back to center. Straighten your legs out in front of you. And then bend your right knee. Cross your right foot over your left thigh or near your knee. And let your right sits bone come slightly forward. Take your left hand behind you for support Keep that left leg active, toes to the sky. Right hand might stay near that right knee, or you might bring the arm on the inside of that lower right leg. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Again, invite that sense of openness across your heart. Breathe here. On your next inhale, unwind. Come back to center, straightening your legs out. And then we're going to make our way down onto our mat. So if you would like, you can have a blanket under your head. Lay down on your mat and draw your knees in towards your chest. And then when you're ready, extend one leg and then the other out long on your mat, coming into your Shavasana. Invite a sense of openness in your body. Maybe spreading your legs a little wider, arms maybe a little wider. Invite that sense of softness and openness across your heart. Let your legs be heavy and soft. Let your hips relax and release. Envision space between each vertebrae in your spine. Soften your shoulders and arms. And let your head be heavy. Soften all the muscles in your face, especially around your eyes. And let go. Gently bring your awareness back to being on your mat. Notice your body. Notice your breath. Notice any sense of freedom in your body. Maybe freedom of movement with your breath flowing through your body. Maybe a sense of openness or spaciousness in your mind. And whenever you feel ready, begin to make small movements. Wiggle your fingers or toes. And then eventually bend one knee and then the other. And make a thoughtful transition over onto one side. And then press your way back up to a comfortable seat. And with appreciation for your awareness, your efforts, and focus, bring your hands together at your heart in Anjali Mudra. The light in me sees and honors the light in each of you. Namaste.